Hello YouTube, this is Rotenks for TCG, and today I have for you a wonderful deck profile on one of the newer decks from Lyrical 3, which is Michu, one of the new glitter ride lines that we have seen introduced recently. So yeah, Michu, you know, cool girl, she has 2 guns, and also her ride line is a bit racist, so fair heads up. But yeah, let's get into it and stop trying to fill things in with the ride line. So first, your grade 1 is when placed when riding over a grade 0 Michu, you search your deck for 1 all set up and put it into your order zone, which, you know, is this fancy dancy little order card right here. Just pretty simple effects. One effect actually, so just if you have a Michu Vanguard, you can rest this to soul charge 1 and play 1 Cannonball from your hand and put it into your order zone. We only do have 1 Cannonball order in the game right now, so it only has 1 target, and we'll get to that target later on. But as a generic skill, pretty nice. And also, as a fair reminder, when you are riding Michu going second, make sure to use this skill first and then the draw. You want to minimize the amount of times you will draw into this, because normally you run it at 1, maybe 2. Depends on what you feel. If you don't feel like you're going to draw at all, just run it at 1. If you feel like you might draw it, run it at 2. But yeah, so that's the grade 1 Michu. Second, we have the grade 2 Michu. Wow, who would have guessed? So this one is when placed over the grade 1 by riding, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add either 1 Cannonball or 1 Nokono card. Nokono is the glitter unit that pairs up with Michu. Similar to know how you have Rowa, Ready Lena, Eva, and her dude and all that. Michu has Nokono. And then, you know, just add that into your hand and shuffle your deck. And then grade 3 Michu, very cute art, I like it a lot. Has just one pretty easy going ability of, if you have all set up in your order zone once per turn, you can CB1, draw 1, and call 1. If you did not call, you discard a card. And she also has a Cannonball ability, which is auto on Vanguard when she attacks the Vanguard. It's a very important difference. She has to attack the Vanguard in order to use a skill. You can Soul Blast 2 to choose one of your opponent's Rearguards and retire it, and she gets 5k power. You know, not the best Vanguard skill, it's a pretty weak Vanguard skill if we're being honest here. It's worse Eugene. Eugene can do so much better for the same cost. And they both have guns. But yeah, you do have some ways of altering that ability as well though with one of the Cannonball orders. And maybe in the future as well, we'll see other cards that change the ability, which I think would be a very fun aspect of this deck to just, you know, kind of become a second Laura where, oh, I have this order in my order zone, I'm gonna now use that order to change my Vanguard's ability to be something else. So yeah, pretty fun concept for a deck. And now let's actually get into the triggers and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so starting off with the triggers, I think you weren't ready for this. You run 1 OT. No. Wow. A single OT? It doesn't matter which one as long as it's a Lyrical OT, because the Lyrical OT is just so strong. You don't have any reason to run the 2 double 100 million when you have the Lyrical OT, which lasts the entire turn and gives all your Rearguards a Force 1. There's just no reason not to be running this. If you're not, you're just self-sabotaging. Next, we run 3 fronts. You could also run 3 draws. I was trying to get 3 draws initially, but honestly, you don't need the drawing power in this deck, and the fronts is very threatening, because your Rearguards are getting quite big in this deck already, so making those Rearguards even bigger and having that 20k shield value is so nice. And then next, you have your heals. I just run 4 vanilla basic heals, just because I don't really like the, counter heals that much now. They're just so underwhelming for the risk you run. You're risking a loss of 5k shield for potentially getting 15k shield, but if it's the restanding heal, that's not activating until the second attack, which may be too late sometimes. And if it's the crit heal, it's only useful against maybe 1 Rearguard swing of that entire turn. So yeah, that's why I don't really run those now. But yeah. And next we have just 8 crit. Ideally you want to be running 4 of the effect crits. Mine are just in different decks right now. So yeah, that's why I only have 2 in here. But this deck specifically would love these effect crits, just because they do give you extra soul and you use soul a lot in this deck. And also the 2k can help hit numbers with some of your more wacky based Rearguards. Alright, so, you know, starting off with grade 1s now. Are you ready? Went through this order. So yeah. Next we also have Nokono, which is the card that pairs up with Michu, as you can see by this god awful big pink text box here. So yeah. Nokono's generic ability is when you put a card into your order zone, you can Soul Blast 1 to call her out into the middle Vanguard booster slot. So yeah, that's only if you don't have any Nokono on field already. But you know, it's a very nice skill. It essentially makes so in a retire matchup, as long as you keep having orders to commit to your order zone, you're not going to run out of having Nokonos to play. Though, you know, if you fight something like Eva, you're going to be running out, and also I would not use that Soul Blast ability as a clinch to be like, okay, you're playing a retire, I'm going to get rid of all my Nokonos because I can just revive them. You will not be playing an order that often to really be greedy enough to go just, I don't need my Nokonos in hand, so I always try and keep at least one in hand if it's a deck that can kill my Nokono. That way I can just call down the next one and keep going, especially because she is what makes this deck work as well as it does. Because her glitter ability with Michu is in the back row center Rearguard. At the end of the battle with the Vanguard attacked, if your opponent's grade 3 or greater, you can CB1, discard a card, stand her, and swap the position of your Vanguard and her. So, you know, let me just put that into example for you right now. Just you go POW, do your Twin Drive. Alright, skill. Restand, the switch. And I go POW again. She is what makes this deck work so well as it does, because it just gives you that 4th attack while having a lot of powerful swings. And also, another funny thing about her is that if your opponent tries to use, you know, the fronts or the draws, they won't work because they have a grade 3 or greater restriction on them for your opponent. So they'll go down to base value, and in this deck, that's quite annoying, because on Persona Ride turns, Nokono can hit 28k, meaning that a front cannot be a Wonder Pass, and that, you know, doing double draw trigger cannot be a Wonder Pass. So it just adds a lot of power to this deck, which is greatly appreciated. It is also only one drive as well, because it is a grade 1, but yeah. Oh yeah, I should have went over these first before the other ones, but you know, you have your 4 PGs. Same reason for why I don't have Elementary, and here's the reason why I don't have the crits. They're in other decks. Alright, so anyway, next we have 2 Clear Shimmer Aura. She's just a very good generic double R from Lyrical 3. She is just, when the attack she boosted hits, retire her to search your deck for 1 order card and put into your hand. It's just very nice to have this sort of just pressure on your Rearguard columns and Vanguard column early to just be like, alright, you don't guard this, I'm getting an order. And if you get the order in Michu, it's very strong. So normally you force the opponent to guard this attack, because they don't want you to be getting such a powerful effect unless they have no choice but to let you. And then next we have another on-hit Rearguard, so you know, the thing I don't really like, but in this deck it's acceptable. So yeah, we have 2 Shutter Chance Elise. So you know, Elise is a pretty good card. When the attack she boosted hits a Vanguard, so unlike Aura, you can't swing into a Rearguard, but when the attack she boosted hits a Vanguard, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck and choose 1 glitter or set order from among them, Among Us, and put it into your hand, and if you did hit, you can just bot deck her. But the requirement is as well, you need to have all set up in your order zone, so you're not able to just use this in any deck to get that on-hit ability, unfortunately. I do wish you were, because it is only an on-hit top 5, and the only other Lyrical deck that can make use of it right now is what? I have a mental blank. Now. She's the only other deck that could make use of the set order searching, which, you know, doesn't really matter too much, but yeah, it is what it is. She is still a very good card, and she also helps against matchups like Revidia or Retire matchups because she disappears. She just goes to mono deck, and a cool thing about her, she can also search your Persona rides, because your Nokonos and your Michus have Persona, have glitter on them, and she searches glitter. So yeah, that's always a fun bit of knowledge to keep in mind. Alright, next we're going to start off with the grade 2s. We're nearly done, but let's keep going. So first we run for Schedule Coordinating Remory. Remory is such an amazing card. I love her to bits because of how good she is. She has 2 Rearguard abilities. One is on attack to a grade 3 or greater Vanguard. If you have all set up in your auto zone, get 5k for the end to the end of that battle. So good 15k attacker. With your 8k Rearguards, she hits 23 without any extra power buff, but normally she might be hitting 33, 43, depending if you Persona Road or not. So it's a very strong attacker, and she also has an on-hit ability to when she on-hits, Soul Blast 1 and play a Cannonball order card from your drop zone. Well, put it into your auto zone, you don't need to play it. Which is extremely good because, well, that one order you do have draws a card when it's put into the auto zone, so you're just able to make this an on-hit Soul Blast 1, I get to reuse my order and draw a card. So you're just an amazing card in general, and also she comes in shiny foiling. Next we have 4, I'm on stage, Renevere. Renevere, very good grade 2. I love her a lot because she just has this amazing, very simple ability that just comes in helpful so many times, which is just, if you have it all set up in your auto zone, she gets 5k power and 5k shield permanently on both of players' turns. Having 10k shield that's also a 13k beat stick is just so good. Every deck would love that. And in this deck, it's just perfect. I can't complain about anything with it. But yeah, that's all she really does, and similar to Remery, she can just hit good numbers in this deck because you have multiple ways to get 10k power buffs through your constant Persona rides and your Cannonball. So yeah, and next we have 2 grade 2s which normally people don't play. These 2 cards you normally replace to play maybe one more Aura and one more Elise, or just 2 more of each of these. Really depends on people. But yeah, we play 2 Dancing Skull Alma. This is because I can't escape my Lorinal route in Lyrical. It's just such a good card. She scales with all the orders you play in your auto zone. And now, grade 3s, we have 7 grade 3s. I wonder if you can guess what these 3 I'm going to reveal are first. If you guess Persona Ride, you are correct. We're on 3 of the Persona Ride because Persona Ride is good. And then next, the last card in the deck is 4 Flower Cannonball. This is the only Cannonball order we have in this format right now. And well, it does have a very good effect to where we don't really need an extra Cannonball. It's just, we would like more choice, I reckon. But you don't need it, it's like Lorinal. We would like more choice to have another song, but we don't need another song because the options we have now is good enough. And well, this is the Flower Cannonball. It is good enough for the deck. It is a bit annoying though because it does have it mandatory when put in auto zone, draw a card. So if you go all out with this deck, soul charging with your all set up, playing this, you are going through at least 4 cards per turn if you're on grade 1 or grade 2, 5 cards to 6 cards on turn 3, maybe even 7. So you are just going through your deck at an insane rate with all these if you keep getting a consistent rotation of playing these. So as I was saying, you just get a very good rotation of these going. You just do go through your deck a lot because of the mandatory draw, but that's not the main reason why you play it. The mandatory draw is very nice. However, the main ability of it is if you have a grade 3 or greater Michu Vanguard, you can drop this to make your Vanguard's Cannonball abilities. On attack, Soul Blast 2, choose 3 units and they get 10k power until the end of that turn. Why is this important? Let me show you. Alright, bam, hello, we are back. So I'm going to show you why this is such a good card in this deck. And just a very typical combo line in this deck, and it's really the only combo you need to know. So let's play it this turn. So we draw for turn. Persona Ride, we're a strong play, we had that Persona Ride ready. We draw that good old card. Next we're going to use Michu skill to counterblast 1. Draw 1, and call 1. No, just calling this because we wanted to get that draw. But actually, that wasn't a good idea. What we should be doing is calling this instead, because we want to keep that card in our hand. And well, I want to keep the 10k shield in front row, so I won't be switching either. Now let's do a quick another soul. We have 4 soul. We probably do have having an extra soul, so we're going to soul charge 1 as well. You just want the extra soul, just because if you keep using this, you might come into a scenario where you don't have enough soul for your Alma and your Cannonball in future turns. So it's always nice to just have a bit of excess soul, just in case you do use a lot of your soul. And anyway, now we're going to use a Flower Cannonball. So just drop it, and now my Vanguard's on attack ability has become Soul Blast 2 and give 3 units 10k power. So now we're just going to go ahead, start swinging with the Vanguard first, Soul Blast 2, and we're going to choose the Nokono, the Remery, and the Renova in the front rows to make them all get 10k power. So this Vanguard swing, 41,000. This Rearguard at the moment is at 30,000. And this one is at 33,000. So Twin Drive, Heal Trigger, we're good at this game. We're going to power here. Yes, we're going to put power there. We're not going to choose the heal. Second check PG. And then end of battle, we're going to counter +1. Discard another card from hand. Best choice in this scenario will be the heal. And then we're just going to go whoop, whoop, and swing for 28. So you know, they have to 2-card guard this if they need to guard it. Drive check, nothing but armor. Hey, that's why we kept that extra soul there, because we're going to end up needing it. And then next we're going to go swinging, so this will be 33 to Vanguard, and this will be 35, 43 to Vanguard with double on hit. If they let this hit, all we need to do is just whoop, whoop, I draw a card. Then next we go whoop, I'm bad so I didn't hit. And then yeah, this is the entire turn with our Michu. So very strong and powerful turn you can do here. And it's more so the generic turn. You don't need to be doing the CB1 every turn Michu as well to get that draw and call, because that is not necessary in this deck for it to function. When you really need to use it is whenever you don't have a Knock-O-No in hand or a Flower Cannonball. Otherwise, you're really fine unless you just need to draw into that beat stick to call down and just beat with. But if you don't need that, if you're not in any sort of rush to kill the opponent, there's no need to use that CB, unless of course you're missing one of these two important pieces for your deck. Alright, so thank you for watching. This has been my Michu deck profile. If you are looking in the market for a local free deck that is pretty good, you have this. I enjoy it a lot. I think it's probably one of the most fun D decks I've played so far in the format. And I don't think I'll have any sort of hesitation of dropping this at all. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.